Success is not just about mastering equations and algorithms. It's about embracing challenges, thinking innovatively, and having the courage to turn knowledge into action. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. A warm welcome to the fourth episode of Season 2 of Youth Lounge, brought to you by DPS Bangalore East. This is the talk show where excellence meets inspiration in a dynamic exchange of ideas and skills. We are your hosts, Uttara,
And Tanish,
presenting to you today. This talk show is on air for students all across the globe to see, live on YouTube. With this, we hope to spread the valuable gold pot of advice our alumni present here today will share with us.
on this episode, we welcome the alumni of our very own school who have achieved success by maneuvering hardships and tackling problems head on, as most of us here will have to. Today, we have an exciting opportunity to interact with some of the brightest minds from one of the most prestigious institutes in the country, the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT. Our guests today are IITians who have not only excelled in academics but have also explored their interests in various fields, from technology to entrepreneurship, research, and beyond. Now, we would like to begin with a small introduction of our guests.
Today, we have with us our first guest, who is dynamic and flamboyant, Mr. Apurv Padlia, an alumnus of DPS Bangalore East of batch 2017-18. Apurv Padlia did his bachelor's in aerospace engineering from IIT Kharagpur, where he worked on drones and aircraft aerodynamics. He completed his master's at Stanford University, where he worked on control systems. He has built a tailsitter drone at the Aerospace Design Lab. Apurv did an internship at the Summer Robotics, where he worked as a controls and algorithm engineer. He loves to travel, constantly seeking new experiences and exploring diverse cultures, which fuels his sense of adventure and broadens his perspective on the world. A very warm welcome to you, Apurv Padlia.
Now, for a second guest, the brilliant and charismatic Mr. Sahil Purohit, who is an alumnus from the batch 2017-18 DPS Bangalore East. Sahil did his BTech and MTech in electrical engineering from IIT Madras. During his course of study, he developed an interest in IC design, specifically in RF design. He did his master's thesis in the field of RFIC design. He did his internship in Texas Instruments, where he is currently employed as an analog designer. Aside from his career, Sahil loves to play music. He is a talented vocalist and a skilled pianist who actively took part in college fests and continues to perform at office events, effortlessly balancing his passion for music with his professional life. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mr. Sahil Purohit.
Now, if you both are comfortable, may we begin with the interview session?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, perfect. My first question is for you, Mr. Apurv.
Mhm.
You have graduated from two of the most prestigious universities, IIT Kharagpur and Stanford. What was your educational experience like?
My education experience in both universities was amazing. Um, I pursued aerodynamics in my undergrad at Kharagpur, and I did control systems and aircraft dynamics in my master's. The way these institutes function and the way this research functions is that when you join, you pick a particular sub branch in your field and you pursue all aspects of it in that university. So you take all courses in it. You pick a professor and then work in his lab and learn from him and get access to industrial level projects through him. And then you join college level competitions which involve your field so that you interact with other people in your university. And I think in all these three things, the biggest factor is the people you are with. And that's what these two institutes gave me. These two institutes helped me interact with some of the best professors, some of the best people I've met in this field. So the education experience in these two institutes was amazing.
That's great. That's great. I'm glad.
Thank you.
Now, my first question for Mr. Sahil. So, Mr. Sahil, what has inspired you to pursue a career in analog design? And what kind of education or background is required for a career in analog design?
Yeah, so I think for me, it started in my first year of college itself. So I ended up taking electrical mostly as a circumstance of how well I had done in the entrances and based off of recommendations from like parents and people they knew. So I ended up in some sense a leap of faith going into that discipline. So what ended up happening is I had these two pivotal courses. One was this course on just systems theory where to put it in a very simple manner, it describes how if you have an input to something, how would you describe a relationship between the input and output? And very specifically, if I were to take it to the real world, I've always been interested in the fact that the response of anything always is finite. Say, even the screen you're looking at right now, it takes some time for the light to reach your eyes to actually be processed, to be interpreted by the brain. So actually trying to quantify that in the real world, which then I saw in the context of electrical circuits as well, right? So applying that general systems theory to actual electrical circuits. And for me, it was also very rewarding in just seeing a lot of concepts that I had learned from school itself, all kind of coming together, like say concepts as early as seventh all the way till 12th, and all of them just coming together to, understand these real world applications. So I think that's when I got hooked. And I'd say it's primarily from it's math and physics primarily, like math specifically, it's a lot of algebra. And physics, it would be in 12th, I think there's these topics on electrostatics, electrodynamics. That's mainly, these two things are mainly what come together to help build the foundation in analog design.
Also, continuing to this, what is the educational background required if someone wants to like pursue the career in this field?
So I think it's going to be either in my case I did EE, so electrical engineering, and I think there is also a course I've heard in my college called engineering physics. There are also people that's kind of a blend of electrical and physics. A lot of other colleges split EE into triple E and ECE. So I think it's ECE that focuses more on like IC design essentially.
Thank you for the helpful answer. I'm pretty sure it would have helped a lot of people. Now my question is to Mr. Apoor. So, Mr. Apoor, did you always know what you were going to pursue, or did you have to figure it out along the way?
I would say both. On one hand, when I chose aerospace engineering, I liked the aerospace field. Um, and that's why I chose aerospace in my undergrad. And when I went into my university, I joined some aerospace related projects, which led me to aerodynamics, and that kind of went into aerodynamic optimization and so on, which led me to my master's application in that field. And once when I was in my master's, from aerodynamic optimization, the project I encountered was, okay, once you've solved the aerodynamics of a drone, how do you control it? Which kind of naturally pushed me into control systems. But no, also because before getting into undergrad and studying aerospace, my view of aerospace was a bit different from what it actually was. So it was also a leap of faith in that sense, where what I thought the field was not what it was, but I happened to like it too. So it's both yes, that I kind of landed, but no, that because I was not aware of what that field is. So just pick whatever you like and then pursue it, and then always feel free to change it and change your course or anything.
That's a really interesting way, the way you chose your field.
All right, so the next question is for you, Mr. Sahil. What are the latest advancements in semiconductor technology that you find most exciting, and how do you see these innovations shaping the future of the industry?
Yeah, so I think to try and maybe get this on some relatable level, I think the key thing I want to try and make clear is a lot of advancement in technology, like a big part of it is simply trying to scale down the fundamental device or the fundamental component we use to build ICs. And that's what's referred to as a transistor. And to try and explain what that is very simply, the way you have, say, the switch in your home, a physical switch that you would turn on and off to say, turn on and off your light. you're essentially having a physical control over an electrical flow. And a transistor would essentially do electrical control on electrical flow. So there's no physical intervention there. So that device, and that's what actually allows circuits to be so small, like to give actual numbers, they go as low, like each device would be as long as a couple of nanometers, just to give some context here, right? Of the fact that you can completely remove physical intervention. So a lot of advancement in technology is towards just making these devices smaller. And I think the key thing that's so advantageous in terms of now the application of these ICs is it essentially means that the smaller your devices for a given area that you have, you can put in more devices. That essentially means more computational power. If let's say you're having something that manipulates signals, let's say it's memory, your memory density has essentially gone up. And I think it's like, especially, I think the most relatable example today would be something like AI, where you really need like not only to handling large, piece of information, but you want to try and minimize how much power you're consuming and um, how many computational resources you have available. I think that's one of the big reasons we're seeing companies like NVIDIA doing so well right now.
My God, all of this sounds so intriguing. Thank you. All right, moving on. This question goes to Mr. Apoor. What was life like for you in DPS, and how has it changed since then?
Oh, life in DPS was very um, fun because I both had freedom and didn't. I had freedom because when you come to DPS, I have my group of friends. We used to do whatever we wanted, and we used to study together. We used to play together, and um, but it was also not free because you only have 8 hours in school. You can't do anything out of school. But on the other hand, it's the exact opposite situation here right now, because now that I'm working, I have all the freedom to do whatever I want, but I also have restrictions where I have to cook, I have to do this, I have to go to work, and I have to do a lot of things. So it's kind of the opposite situations. I would love to have my friends from DPS and the situation I was in DPS right now. So I would say that's how it's different. But I really do miss my life at DPS and miss the people and DPS.
Yeah, school will always be cherishable for all of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
My next question is to Mr. Sahil. Your favorite subject is mathematics. For a lot of us, including me, math brings in fear. Can you give us some tips to face the math exam or any tough exam?
Yeah, so I think with most subjects, there's always going to be this steep learning curve that's there initially, right? And I think especially with any subject, let's say math, that you've had this fear of, as you've described it, and you've had it for a while. I think a big problem I feel that a lot of people would have is you've had that fear regarding that subject for so long, it can become very familiar to you, and that fear kind of becomes a part of you to a point where it's kind of part of your essence, and it becomes really difficult to even conceive that you could not get rid of that fear. So I think the first step, even though it's not very intuitive, to kind of overcome that, would be to actually conceive of a world where you don't have that fear. Like actually try and imagine. It's not like you want to get over it, but deep down you know it'll never go. Like you actually want to believe deep down that it can go. I think that's the first thing. And once you have actually convinced yourself of that through whatever means you feel possible, I think the best way to tackle anxiety regarding anything is action on the matter. So, any subject, whatever it is, you want to kind of tackle that initial steep learning curve head first, and you really want to kind of deep dive into whatever subject it is that's bothering you. And if I can be very specific, it would be things like, I feel like most people, when they go for an exam, they kind of know what questions they don't want to come. So outside the exam room, you need to sit with those, because those are the questions that are tripping you up and causing this fear. So you have to actually deal with that outside the exam hall and not be paralyzed when it comes to you in the exam hall, right? So it's typically action on that and taking your time with it. And once you actually get those fundamentals right and you build your confidence, then you can go for more volume and just doing a lot of questions. But I think it's a lot to do with just developing fundamentals and most importantly, developing the confidence and in yourself that you have the ability to overcome these fears, because you might say it in the context of an exam now, but there are so many new things that you will just have to learn in life to progress. And it's so important to have, like, primarily the confidence in yourself that you can actually overcome that. And I feel a lot of that starts in things as simple as school exams. So it's in some sense, an opportunity to build that confidence and the fundamental knowledge as well, so that you can overcome any intellectual challenges essentially that you will face. And I think I'll also, like, maybe one thing I'll just end with is very specifically for exams, right? I think it's very common to try and scale this learning curve in the actual exams. And because you don't really have too many actual exams, if you just keep doing badly in them, it's very difficult to gradually get better. So I think it's a good idea to do a lot of these, like just make tests for yourself and do bad at them initially, then slightly better until you're good enough by the time the actual thing comes. So yeah, that's, if I had to try and summarize, that's the way I'd put it.
Thank you for such great tips. It's not only helpful for exams, but as you said, it's helpful for life as well. It would definitely help the viewers and more for me. Moving on to Mr. Apur. Since the entrance examinations are coming up, a lot of us would like to know how you prepared and cracked JEE. What tips would you like to give us as we prepare for one of the toughest exams in India?
Yeah, yeah. I think there are three things that you follow while preparing for JEE. The first thing is your concept. So your concept should be very clear in multiple fields, uh, multiple subjects that you give in JEE. The second thing is that given that your concept is clear, the ability to solve a problem quickly and thoroughly is the second thing that you have to build. So these two are your kind of core fundamental things. But the thing is that these two are general tips for all exams. What happens in JEE is that a lot of people are already doing this. So the third point becomes very important, is that, okay, given that your concepts are clear and you can solve questions in those concepts clearly, how do you get the maximum number of marks given this setup? So that's where strategy while solving the paper becomes important, and I think it almost accounts for 50% of your success rate in JEE. So I would say from the start, keep experimenting with what works better for you. So are you somebody who likes to solve things subject wise, like doing physics first, chem then maths, or the other way? Or do you like solving easy questions first and then focusing on the hard ones? Or do you like solving hard ones? So keep playing with all these kind of different strategies, because they are as important as knowing good concepts and knowing good questions. So your focus should be on maximizing your score given a conceptual and speed of solving those concepts. I would say focus on that.
Thank you. That was an amazing approach, like the way you approach the your examination. I'm sure the viewers will benefit from your advice.
Moving on to another question from Mr. Sahil. You had spent a number of years studying in DPS, right? What are your favorite memories, and would you mind sharing a few of them with us today?
Yeah, so I think, there's not much of a singular memory, but one of the things I remember was 12th grade was, I basically came to school to just hang out with my friends, pretty much. Like all the deep diving I spoke about in the previous point happened outside school or at the coaching center. So that way, 12th was just really fun. Last year in school, right? And I knew I'm not going to see these guys, like most of them again for a while. So just spent a lot of time with them. I think maybe like a memory in particular. I remember I don't know if the fest is still called this, but the DPS Fest was called Invictus back then.
Yeah, it's still
So my first Invictus was, that was my first fest ever. That was in my 9th grade. So that was pretty awesome. Like I think the school honestly did a great job. Like looking back at it, and I've gone like other colleagues fest, like just looking at organization, DPS did an awesome job. Like so, and I'd say if I had to get a little bit on the academic side, one of the teachers I still remember in terms of how much I learned from her is Anita ma'am. So she was my math teacher in 11th and also in the bit of beginning in 12th. I'd actually say like in like the very specifically the concept of integration in maths, I basically learned from her pretty much. It was yeah, very rewarding. And I'd say the biggest thing though I feel DPS has given me is I have these group of 6 friends, myself included, from back when I was in 10th grade. And it's kind of funny, actually, just a couple of days ago, before I even found out about this talk that was going to happen today, I was actually just telling one of them that, we are like 6 different guys from different corners of Bangalore. And even though we have gotten along as friends because of who we are, I think it's crazy that the only reason our lives cross paths is because we all came together 5 days a week to this building that was DPS. And now it's like a lifelong thing, that, even though finally it's us who, we became friends as who we are, DPS definitely played a part in, giving us that space to meet and get to know each other. So, yeah.
Such good times. You really are missing your time in DPS, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. Now on to your final question, Mr. Apur. What does a typical day look like for a controls and algorithm engineer in aeronautics? And what do you prefer doing in your free time?
I work for the same company that I interned in. My typical day is usually one of two ways. One way is I just go there, go head down into software, and I keep coding the entire day. The second type of day is when we have to work on hardware, which is basically testing our code on a robot arm or on any hardware device, which is a more exciting day where we have to go a bit early, set up the system, and get behind. One of us would be holding the e-stop button in case our code has like a negative positive sign, which makes the arm just go like that. So it's pretty fun to play with hardware and seeing your code running live on something that's has a potential to break another thing in the lab. So I would say it's like days of like coding, which is also pretty fun because you're implementing the maths algorithms that you derived into code. And the other side is the hardware side where you see your code in action and see whether you did your maths correctly or not. In my free time, I have a few friends here who we travel around and explore the area and sometimes cook, sometimes go out to eat. So it's more of a touristy thing that I like to do around the place that I live in.
That's nice. It all sounds super fun. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you.
My last question is to Mr. Sahil. You love playing music and taken part in many events. How important is it to have a hobby apart from a career?
Yeah, so I think music was something that I got into quite heavily in college, more than in school. And especially my final year, I feel I spent a lot of time with the different, musicians that were there. And yeah, I was actually also lucky enough that once I started work also there, generally offices have these, you can say rec centers or recreational centers where there's sports. And one of the things we have is a music room, and there are fortunately enough people who are, interested and talented. So I get to, we generally host these, you can say house concerts. And I'd say they are actually like, especially when we have a show coming up and we generally do practice in the evening. It's actually a great way to kind of disassociate from, the whole office space and workspace. Like you're generally most of your day is spent, your brain is running like real, fast on whatever problem it is you're trying to solve. So that way, it really helps in just helping yourself relax and kind of lose yourself in that moment. And it's a good way to de-stress in some sense for sure. But I think the most important thing is just whether it's whether it's called a hobby or not, that you basically pursue things if you feel the need to outside whatever it is that you just do for your career. That being said, like it's not a blanket statement. If you feel like your career is your everything, that works as well. But if you feel that urge that you want to do something else, then yeah, I'd say mainly make sure you're actually interested in, not doing it for the sake of it, basically. Yeah.
From hearing your words and listening to you, I can tell that you love music. So if you don't mind, could you please sing a song for us, like at least a small part, if you're fine with it?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a big fan of Queen, so I thought I'd probably do a verse from one of their songs.
Please, please.
So yeah. Love of my life, don't leave me. You've taken my love and now desert me. Love of my life, can't you see? Bring it back, bring it back. Don't take it away from me, because you don't know what it means to me. Yeah.
That was genuinely amazing. That's like one of the best
Thank you.
performances I've ever heard. So with this, the questions ends. So now, should we have some fun?
Yeah.
Let's have a quiz round. What do you guys
Yeah,
say?
sure.
Oh.
So we'll be showing you some a set of 5 questions, and then you have to answer them. Let's see who can answer.
Okay.
Just a moment. Guys, do not look at the answers on the side. I know it's difficult. All right. So, for our first set of questions, there are some terms related to the subjects that you have studied. You need to guess the word by filling in the missing letters. All right.
Okay, like do we go one after the other, or how?
Up to you. Up
Up
to
to
you.
you,
Whoever has an
exactly.
answer can speak up.
Okay,
Okay.
bro, you wanna go?
You can go.
Okay, I'm guessing first is aviation.
Right.
Mhm.
Correct.
Okay,
Second is thermodynamics.
Also right.
Okay. Yeah.
and robotics.
Perfect.
It was too
Perfect.
easy for them. Okay, so let's move on to our next question. You can see the
Mhm.
answer. This is a picture of a block in our school. Can you remember the name of the block?
Yeah, I think this Delta block, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Not bad.
Yeah.
7 years and you still remember.
Yeah,
Have you studied in inside that block, or you were always on the Gamma block?
I think I had like a little bit of my start of 10th in this block, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's test your knowledge about the music industry. Here
Yeah.
are photographs of artists, and I need you to recognize them and name one song.
Apurv, you're gonna have to try, bro. I have
No,
absolutely no idea.
same. I
He's a rapper.
Yeah, I'm just gonna guess he's a rapper, and that's the prime reason I
yeah.
have no idea who he is.
You guys don't listen to rap?
No, not really.
Okay.
No.
And this is Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I see.
okay.
You've heard of him?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the next one.
I want to say Sunidhi Chauhan, but I'm not sure.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
You are right.
And can you name a song?
I think she's done Kamli, I think.
Yeah, she has. She
Yeah,
has.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you.
So since we know that you both are excellent at math,
Okay.
so here's a riddle for you. Can you solve it?
So you have to arrange eight
Okay.
dates in such a way that they add up to 1,000.
So
I can see the IIT brains at work.
2 to the power 10 is
Okay,
1024.
I'll give a hint. It's not that complicated. There's a hint in the
You just have to
presentation.
arrange 8 eights. So like 8 number of the number 8 in such a way that they add up to 1,000.
They add up
So
to
you
1,000.
you arrange 8 so they add up to 1,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Bro, I'm the thinking some like 1,024 minus 24, like somehow get it to that.
Yeah. So to get 1024, you say 8 into 8 into 8. Into in the brackets 8 plus 8 by 8.
Just
So you
addition, no
get 2.
multiplication, no division.
Oh,
Yeah,
Just
they add
Oh,
up to
just
1,000.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
It's very simple, trust me.
Yeah.
Is it some like
No. It's an
riddle like
actual answer. It's an actual answer.
arrange 8 eights? So they add 1,000. Oh, it's like something like 88 plus 888.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
oh,
Something like
okay.
that. Yeah,
Oh,
you're
okay.
getting there.
I see.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
see.
okay,
You're
okay.
getting there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you guys
I
got
see. I
it.
see. So 888 plus 88. What is that?
Yeah. Close
Yes.
enough. Go on.
Nine- What? 976, I think you get to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then
Hang
you
on.
have 24 left. Yeah, so
Yeah, 888.
yeah, triple eight plus 88
Amazing,
plus 8 plus 8
yeah.
plus 8 plus 8.
Good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up are some logos of airline companies. Can you guys see
Okay.
that?
Air India down right, Indigo top left.
Mm-hmm.
Top right, top left. One is it
It's
some
foreign.
is it an is
It's
it
not Indian.
is it American?
No.
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 You can have another try.
Hmm.
Do you know the second one?
Indigo? Is that Indigo?
Second.
No,
That's the
third.
third one. The one below the.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
You have any answers?
Emirates, Qatar,
Yeah, Emirates. Yeah. That's
Emirates.
Okay.
the first one?
Ryan.
No.
No. British.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Perfect.
Mhm.
Moving on to our last one. Can you identify the instrument? It's one of the oldest stringed instruments of India.
I want to say sitar, but I'm not sure.
No, not quite.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Mr. Apur, any
Oh,
guesses?
it looks like a single string.
Yeah, single string. It's you. I guess you play it like that, but Santoor, sitar.
It's called an ektara.
Iktara.
Yeah.
Single string.
Okay.
It's literally.
Yeah.
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 You literally told the English translation. That's
Yeah.
right. All right. Thank you so much for playing along. I hope
That
you
was fun.
enjoyed
Thank
this
you.
as much as we did. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. As the quote goes, all good things come to an end. On behalf of our esteemed institution, we would like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to our panelists and alumni, Mr. Sahil and Mr. Kapoor, for agreeing to be with us today. Your knowledge and experience will inspire a lot of the viewers present with us today. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to our management, our principal Dr. Manila Carvalho, our vice principal Ms. Preeti Sota, head mistress, and our senior mistress Ms. Banaja Sambrani, HOD of Computer Science Ms. Vikranti Ashtikar, and coordinators Ms. Chitra and Ms. Srinidhi for providing us with a platform to interact with our learned and hardworking seniors. We extend our gratitude to Sonali ma'am, HOD of English, and Sioni ma'am from the English department for their continuous support and guidance throughout our preparations for this event. Last but not the least, special thanks to Pallavi Srivastava ma'am and Apurva Vibhote ma'am from the computer department for their technical assistance.
Thank you for joining us this evening with such enthusiasm. Have a great evening. We are your hosts, Tanish,
And Uttara,
signing off. We request our guests and organizing team to stay back for a group photo and an interactive session with our alumni Apur and Sahil.
Thank you. Thank you for this. This was fun.
Thank you.